The pathway to prosperity is not inevitable. Building prosperity takes time, but can be undermined in a blink of an eye. When governments face difficult times, there's always a temptation to adopt easy short-term political solutions. But building and protecting prosperity calls for tough choices, long-term grit, and determination. Since the fall of the Berlin Wall, the world has gone through a process of transformation, ushering in a new era of freedom and opportunity. There's been rapid prosperity improvements in nations that have undergone enormous transitions. Since 1989, across the world, the number of democracies has almost doubled to 99 today. 91 countries have experienced a reduction in their levels of corruption, boosting personal freedoms and unleashing economic potential. And these transformations have delivered unprecedented political accountability across Eastern Europe and beyond, with nearly half of former Soviet nations experiencing an improvement in their civil liberties. Closed economies have opened up. Nearly 100 countries have strengthened their property rights, and even more have improved their domestic business freedoms. And a similar number have seen international trade grow as a share of GDP, with the reduction of tariffs across the globe. This economic progress has led to real and tangible results for people around the world. Global average life expectancy has increased to over 70 years. Around 1 billion more children are attending school. Fewer children are dying in infancy, and there's been a 65% reduction in the proportion of people living in extreme poverty since 1989, equating to some 1.2 billion people. However, this remarkable progress has also created a sense that the building of prosperity is inevitable. The international community has now focused its attention on the outcomes that prosperity delivers, on the improvements in education, health, poverty reduction, and living conditions. These are, of course, important, but they are the fruits of building well, and we run the risk of losing sight of the foundation stones that made countries prosperous in the first place. And without a renewed focus on these foundations, these outcomes will falter. Today, the world faces such a moment of decision, with global prosperity stagnating, and not simply as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. 4 key building blocks of prosperous societies are deteriorating: executive constraints, political accountability, freedom of assembly, and freedom of speech. At this pivotal moment in our history, these principles that build true prosperity are being challenged across the world. The emergence of China and India as superpowers, the retreating of the US from the role of global leadership, and the emergence of the UK as an independent nation, with the questions that raises for the unity of the EU, are all shifting geopolitical tectonic plates. As these shifts take place, we are faced with challenging questions. Can capitalism and an open economy easily coexist with authoritarianism? Do free markets automatically imply free speech? The answers to these questions can be found in the Prosperity Index. Yes, it's possible to limit the freedom of your people and build an open economy. And yes, it's possible to suppress free speech and build free markets. But it is not possible to do these things and build true prosperity. The suppression of the freedom of people and their speech will always lead to limited and stunted prosperity. Societies that restrict personal liberties ultimately erode trust and social capital. Innovation and dynamism will become stifled, and the state will find itself having to expend ever greater resources to engender compliance. If we want to create lasting pathways to prosperity, we must not take our core freedoms for granted. More so than ever, it's imperative to recognize their irreplaceable role as the foundations of inclusive societies, open economies, and empowered people. It's only by preserving, protecting, nurturing, and celebrating the foundations of prosperity that we can continue the extraordinary progress we've seen over the past 30 years and grapple with the many challenges facing the world in the 2020s and beyond.